This week I'm going to be teaching you my top 5 Weezer riffs. These are going to be songs from both the Blue album and also Pinkerton. Most of the Blue album and Pinkerton was written in this E flat tuning. So for this tuning, our top string is going to be a D sharp. Our A string is then going to be a G sharp. Our D string is going to be a C sharp. Our G string is going to be an F sharp. Our B string is going to be an A sharp. And our very bottom string, the high E string, is going to be a D sharp as well. So let's jump into the first riff, which is going to be the intro to My Name is Jonas, and it sounds like this. So for this, we're going to place our fingers in our C major shape. But rather than strum the chord, we're going to do some picking. So we're going to pick our A string, then our B, then our G, and then our D. Okay, so we've got... And then the last two notes that we're going to pick is the B string again, and then the G. So that completes your picking pattern for this C chord. Okay, so we've got A, B, G, D, B, G. So in terms of my picking hand, I'm picking down on our first note. On our B note, I'm going up on the G, down on the D, up on the B, and down on the G. Okay, so down, up, down, up, down. It then moves to our next chord. The next chord's nice and easy. We're just going to place our second finger on the second fret of the A string. And then we're going to pick our B, G, and D. Okay, and once more. And then to finish it off, we're just going to pick the high E and the B. So for this chord, we've got A, B, G, D, high E, B. Now the trick here with this song is to try and put the chords together. That may be the tricky part, but what we can do is we play our C. Okay, and all you need to do is take pretty much all your fingers off, but just move that second finger up to that second fret on the A, which again takes us to the next chord. So if I do that slowly for you. This then leads us into the A minor chord. And for this, our picking pattern is the same as our C. Okay, so it was the A, B, G, D, B, G. Okay. Then we go to our second fret A again and we play it exactly the same. So we pick the A, B, G, D, high E, B. Okay, so most of those notes are open. And again, the transition from A minor to our second chord, just move that second finger up. Okay, and once more. So if you put it together real slow, it's going to sound like this. And you essentially loop it around a couple of times. It's a really, really great intro. Next up, we're going to look at something that's quite similar. It's going to be the intro from Surf Wax America. So for this, we're going to place our fingers on the 3rd fret of the B with your first finger. And then our second finger is going to be on the 4th fret of your D string. And for this, we're going to pick our D, our B, our G, and then we're going to do an open D. Okay, so if we put our fingers back down, it would be D, B, G, open D. And at the track tempo, it sounds like this. What you might want to do is rather than take both your fingers off at the end, just take your second finger off to play that open string, because we need to slide that shape down to the 1st fret B and 2nd fret on the D. Okay, so we're going from here to here. And for this, we pick our D, B, G, and then we need to get the 3rd fret A. So, like that. So if we put this first bar together, and once more slowly. Then the second bar is probably a little bit easier. We go to the 2nd fret A, we're going to pick the A, the D and the G. And then we're going to go to the 3rd fret on the low E and pick the B, the G and the D. Okay, so if we do that again, so 2nd fret A, pick the D, pick the G, 3rd fret E, and then pick the B, the G and the D, which are open. So if I put the whole of this riff together real slow for you. So the fingers I'm using for this is the 2nd finger for our 2nd fret A note, and then 3rd finger for the 3rd fret low E note. You may want to do it a different way, but logically that makes sense to me. If you'd like to learn the whole song, I do actually have a lesson for this, and I'll put a link in the top right hand corner now. So we're going to move to a song from Pinkerton, and it is going to be the riff to El Scorcho. And it sounds like this. So again, this is really, really good for practicing your picking, and also our left hand is constantly moving, well, our fingers are constantly moving. We're going to place our 1st finger on the 5th fret of the low E, 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the A, and then 2nd finger on the 6th fret of the G. Okay, so. And then we're going to place our 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the D. Then we're going to go to the 7th fret A, then we're going to go to the 5th fret A with our 1st finger, 7th fret D with our 3rd finger. So far we've got. And then we're going to go to the 7th fret B with our little finger, and then finally the 7th fret G with our 3rd finger. Okay, so. For our picking hand, I'm just going down on all those notes. And it's all about getting that fluid movement with your fingers moving. To start off with, you can just play the notes as they are, but if you want to, on that 6th fret G, you can maybe do a little bend, and the same on the 7th fret B. So it's going to sound like this. But if not, then just play the notes as it is and it will go perfectly to the track. So next up off Pinkerton, we're going to be looking at the intro riff for Falling For You. Now this is actually the 2nd guitar, okay? So it's not the 1st guitar that starts the song, it's the one that essentially overlaps on top. It sounds like this. So this is a great example of how to use the major scale in your songwriting or in a song. So it starts off on the 7th fret of your A string, and it's really important to use the proper fingers here. So we're going to use the 2nd finger, because then we've got to go to the 6th fret D with our 1st finger. Then we're going to go to the 7th fret D with our 2nd finger, and then the 9th fret D with our little finger. You can also use your 3rd finger there. Okay, so we've got 7, 6 on the D, 7 on the D, 9 on the D, and then to finish off this little section, we go to the 6th fret on the D with our 1st finger. And once more. Then we're going to hop our 1st finger down to the 6th fret on the G, and then our 3rd finger on the 8th fret of the G, little finger on the 9th fret of the G. So from the beginning, if I do it slowly for you. And then up to the track tempo. Then we're going to go to the 6th fret on the D. Then we're going to go 6th fret D again down to the 4th fret D. Like that, so that's the time we need to get. Then we go to the 7th fret on the A with our little finger, and 4th fret D with our first finger, back to the 7th fret on the A with our little finger. Okay, so it goes from the 6th fret D, and then if I go from the beginning so you can hear it in the context of the whole part. And then we're going to pick the 7th fret A again, 4th fret D again, but then we're going to use our 3rd finger to go to the 6th fret A. Okay, so 7, 4, 6. So again from the beginning so you can hear it in context. Then we're going to use our 1st finger to go to the 4th fret G, 3rd finger on the 6th fret G, back to the 4th fret G, then we're going to do some bends on the 6th fret of the G. Okay, and it's probably about 3. So on this G it goes 4, 6, 4, bend, bend, bend. From the beginning, it sounds like this slowly. And then it kicks in with those power chords. So next up we are going to be looking at something that I could not leave out. It is going to be the end riff to Buddy Holly. You know the one I'm talking about. So the riff after the guitar solo in Buddy Holly sounds like this. And for this we're going to place our 1st finger on the 17th fret of the high E, 2nd finger on the 18th fret of the B, back to the 17th fret on the high E. Then we're going to go to the 19th fret on the high E with our 3rd finger. And then we're going to pick that 19th fret and we're going to do a full bend. And come back down. So far it sounds like this. So after the bend, we're going to go back to the 17th fret on the high E, 18th fret on the B, and 17th fret on the B. Okay, so bend, 17th fret high E, 18th fret B, and 17th fret B. All together, slowly, it sounds like this. And at a track tempo. So that has been my top 5 Weezer riffs. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, click the like button, click the subscribe and the bell. That way you'll be notified each week when I upload a guitar lesson. If you would like a monthly guitar lesson with me, check out my Patreon link in the description box below.